Hey, what's up, man? Welcome in. Hey, look at that picture on that video screen right there. There's 4 people here. Might have to rename the show. It's supposed to be 3 guys before the game, but yeah. Summer series, man. This officially the first one?
No, because we had Jaquay in here.
Nah. I think this is the first one.
No? I mean,
no, we did have.
We had a summer interview series. All right,
I don't know if current players count as summer series.
What do you mean?
I don't think current. I don't think active eligible athlete counts as summer series.
You mean we have guidelines here?
Yeah,
that's new.
A very regimented show. I mean, you've been.
Did y'all skip spring and we just go to summer here? Or what do we?
Well, we've been trying to get these.
Nothing goes in a straight line on this show, Coach.
We've been trying to get pontoon boats in the water since January, so yeah, it's summer now.
There you go. Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. Our very special guest on this edition of 3 Guys Before the Game is WV women's basketball coach Mark Kellogg. We got a lot to get into him because we went back and checked the records, checked the transcript. And we have determined collectively as this group and our staff, which is many, many people, that he absolutely he possumed us on his last visit. Played possum.
Of course he did.
He laid low. Said, I don't know. We're just
not sure.
I think year one, we're just going to try to get the ball over midcourt once in a while. I think it's kind of what we're just going to try to do.
Exactly that.
Then he comes out here and he just
screwed up.
Let's go.
Do you have the audio of any of that, or we're just winging it right now and throwing that out there?
With AI, we can make you say it. 3 Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By GoMart. Go for good times. Go for GoMart. Download the new GoMart app. Immediately begin to save on fuel and food. And get that rewards card because, I mean, it's just free money. That's all it is free money. 3 Guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. We'll show you some pictures coming up, what's going on there at Lou Wendell. I also just, I have a lot of things going through my head, just believe it or not, while I'm talking. And I was going to try to make a joke here.
Believe it.
Yeah, okay.
I was also going to say, I was going to give them the old. And sponsored by the NCAA Women's Basketball Officials Association.
Now, Coach has been here 35 seconds. We don't need to have a fine issue. Just move on.
If you don't have
We've
one
handled
of
that.
you don't have one of our whistles now, we promise we'll blow it at the most inopportune and incorrect time. Thank you.
You worked for that one.
Boom.
The coach he has to be careful.
I'm not trying to get him in trouble.
What you did? Yeah, right.
Statute of limitations over. Tournament's been over for a month. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, there should be.
There should be like.
Should be.
It's kind of like when the NDA comes to an end. Non-disclosure agreement is no longer.
So you're going to try and predict what the behavior of the NCAA would be in terms of the statute of limitations?
I'll get back to you in 5 years.
Yeah. How are you, buddy? We appreciate you coming out.
We're doing great. Yeah, I appreciate you having me back, and kind of half remember the first time I was here, but that was a while ago. And things were going about 15,000 miles an hour. But no, we're doing really well, and obviously had a fantastic season. And onto the recruiting scene now. And actually, we have our last workout of the spring today with our team. So this is it for us. We got to take the next week off, and then we go into finals. So we're on the back end of it.
Never stops, does it, man?
It really never does. No, and. We were looking at the calendar, my wife and I, and with the kids' activities and my schedule, and we hadn't had a vacation in a year and a half, so we got to find a date here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Coach Kellogg's starting to a little bit here. I need that little rejuvenation.
Need a recharge.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, no doubt.
So a good vacation for you involves what?
Yeah, typically like beach, golf, dinners.
Yeah.
Pickleball. I mean, we're kind of more of an active vacationers. But I can sit on the beach for a little bit, but I need to still give me a ball or a paddle or something.
You got to do something.
Water, kind of guy.
You don't sit under the umbrella and read?
I do not do that, no,
Okay.
not one bit.
You've got a family of 4. What's the normal team assignment? And when you do play pickleball, is it boys against the girls? What are you doing on that normally?
Well, no, now it's typically husband and wife versus children. Now that they've gotten a little older, we used to, it would be mom with a kid and dad with a kid, and now it's typically always.
Yeah.
We'll still play some 2-on-2 basketball, and now it's always mom and dad versus the kids.
Rank competitive levels of the four of you.
Yeah, you couldn't, because it's four of the most competitive people you've ever been around. Yeah, that would be a really, really hard one.
Anything ever break out like that's a foul?
Oh no, there's a little bit of that. Yeah, there's some arguments, and we have plenty of those
A
battles.
little spirited. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, when you're playing these 2-on-2 basketball games, obviously in the past you would have held back on blocking particular people's shots. Do you go? I mean, your daughter, like if she steps back on you, will you try to swat it?
Yeah, if I can. No, she's gotten pretty good. My son's more athletic than I am, at my age now, so he's gotten where he can go get a rebound over me and do some stuff. So they're a little more competitive all of a sudden these games, and I've got to be a little careful when I even choose to play 2-on-2 at this point.
Well, you got to be careful too about potential injury.
No, for sure. That's what I mean.
Right? Hamstring. I mean, it involves some extra stretching before you line up.
It's real. I kind of got my knee one time we played, and I was like, I think I'm done here, guys. Yeah. Sorry.
Check it out.
I'm going to blow this one.
Ever any incidents where when you're playing 2-on-2 where maybe there's an obvious foul but nobody calls it? Does that ever happen?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Like,
I
know it doesn't happen in NCAA tournament play. It wouldn't happen there.
I was just going to say you're baiting him in again. Don't do that.
He's asking him a fair question. He's
I'm
just asked a question. He's protecting.
Specific
to his
I
family.
had a great interview with Coach after the tournament. All I did was I wrote a commentary about it. You and I talked about it. I wrote a commentary and I cited statistics and just asked the coach. I said, if you disagree,
I gave you those statistics, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay.
I said, if you disagree with any of these statistics, if any of these things, just stop me. And the coach didn't stop me.
Those were statistics. Those were black and white statistics, facts. Yeah, that was easy. You didn't set me up for anything on that one.
Thank you.
Presenting facts.
Thank you. Yeah,
That's all we did. We just talked about facts.
Yeah.
You were hired as the head coach on April the 3rd. We record on the 18th. So you've been here 2 years and 15 days. Think about the year your family just had. You come in here, you rock and roll, and you put together this
1 year, right?
1 year. I think it's 1 year.
Your math is
off.
off.
What did I say?
You
2?
said 2 years.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I was thinking.
I had
bad.
me questioning. I thought Mark just got
My bad. All right,
yeah,
fine.
1 year.
But
1 year.
Mark
Reset.
was wondering,
Reset.
like, 2 years. I know it went by fast, but
it hasn't gone by that fast.
Well, if this weren't live, if this weren't live to tape, I'd go like this: 3, 2, 1. Coach, you've now been here for 1 year and 15 days. Think about the year that you guys just had as a family. Obviously, you have this incredible, unexpected success in basketball. Not that you weren't going to be successful here, but no one thought that it was going to happen this quickly. Your daughter wins a state championship at Morgantown High. Oh, I'm sorry, loses in the championship game. Your son wins the state championship at Morgantown. My point was they both played for state championships. In addition to everything else that's going on, like this has been a year.
It has, yeah. And no, you couldn't have written the script, to be honest, much better. And I don't know that we would like to think we dreamed of this, but I'm not sure that was even ever in the cards.
Mm-hmm.
And, that the stretch of we had the 3 Saturdays in a row is kind of what I've said, where Kaylee played in the state championship. The next Saturday, Camden's team played in the state championship. And then we played Princeton in the NCAA tournament the next Saturday. So we had a run in the Kellogg household that was, kind of unmatched and, never dreamed of something like that. But happy for the kids. That was my biggest concern when I moved here. I think we maybe even talked about that when I first got here, was just how would the family adjust? And I was bringing a high school girl, who had we were 8 years at Stephen F. Austin, and those were her friends.
Sure.
And she had that travel team in Dallas. And, I think Camden I always thought was okay. He was ready for it. Kaylee I was a little more concerned with. But no, people have been great. Morgantown High School adopted them and made them feel really welcome really quickly. And they battled through some stuff, but that's good. That makes them a little bit tougher along the way and makes you enjoy it a little bit on the back end. And our team was special, and, we can talk about that more later, I guess, but that came together, as you said, probably quicker than anybody thought. So I don't think I was trying to downplay it a year ago. I just didn't know.
No. You had all the boxes unpacked?
For the most part. I mean, there's a lot of boxes just still down there. But at least they're in the downstairs closet, out of the way.
We'll get to that later, right? We'll get to that. Yeah, exactly.
And if they're still in boxes at this point, you don't need it.
No, that's what we say. It's the only good thing about moving. If you hadn't touched it before your last move,
get it out.
Send it. We don't need it.
Does it feel to you more like it's been 4 months or more like it's been 2.5 years on that spectrum? Because there's a lot. He's right. There's a lot that's gone on in the year.
Honestly, both. Like, I could go probably both ways with that kind of, I guess, like that argument. Like, I feel like I just got here, no doubt. But I also feel like, man, like this is like we've been going now, and we do feel really comfortable. So it does feel like we've been here, and even just the friendships and the, just being comfortable here and where we live and how we go about our business is, yeah, it does feel like home. And so I guess it feels like it's been really quick. And I just got here, and we were just doing this podcast whenever that was, and we were getting the house and all that stuff. And then at the same time, yeah, feels like it's been a minute.
Comfortable and home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was the biggest key to your success the initial ability to keep all 6 of the players that you were inheriting here?
Yeah, and that was win number one. That's kind of what I've called it. Win number one was keeping that group of 6, and then we added 7, and then the big win was that group meshing together. That's probably what I was the most concerned about. And we had our little kind of banquet celebration of the season last night, and I talked a little bit about that I was just so scared that it was just going to be this, and we're going to have these, the Coach Kellogg recruits versus the ones that had been recruited by 2 previous coaches, and not one, but 2 previous coaches, and how in the world could we blend it? But I mean, honestly, by the end of the summer, and it was a credit to our players and their togetherness and their connection, like they were good. We were good. By the end of the summer, they were connected. They were at the spot we needed them to be.
That's easy for you to say that, but it's not that easy. You and your staff had to have some kind of a plan so that the marriage could take place. Because if you didn't have some sense of feel or direction, then they would not have molded together like they did. So if you would step back, what was your coaching to your coaches as to how you wanted to approach it so that they would bond?
Yeah, I mean, I think my job is to paint a vision, right? And then hopefully they can see that vision. And so, my little tagline is "Be you, align with us," And so early on, like JJ, I think she has a tattoo that says "Be you." So from like the very beginning, like it was like, I love it. That resonated with her, right? And I want every kid to feel like they can truly be themselves, because I think that's when I get them at their best. I want the locker room to be the safe place where you can be yourself. If I want to get in this conversation with that group of teammates, I can. If I don't want to be in it, I'm perfectly comfortable being over here. If they come into the facility every day, man, I get to be myself. I got my little backpack on. I'm ready to go to work. And so it was just painting this vision and with the coaches and making sure the kids felt really comfortable being who they were. And I thought we had brought in really good kids with high character that obviously had a talent also. And there was talent here. So those 6 were talented. And then they just got along. And we did the bonding stuff, the mandatory bonding. We did the whitewater rafting and the jump houses and the retreats. And we did all of that stuff. But for them, they did it on their own too, and I think that's why we got the head start that we got.
Where did your philosophy of BU, where was that created along your coaching journey?
Yeah, probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe right before, well, maybe right even after, maybe not quite that long. It was right around COVID, because one of my former players got into sports psychology, mental performance stuff, and she used that with me, and that just resonated with me. And I remember I got my team on a Zoom so she could talk that through with them, and they really liked it. And so, yeah, it may have been 4 or 5 years ago that I've just kind of stuck with that, because I just thought it meant so much. And with kids these days, they all, they want to be themselves. Like,
yeah.
Don't tell them or try to treat them all the same, because they are not.
And JJ gets here, and she's already got the tattoo that says "BU."
Yeah.
No, so that had to be a little. That had to be a little. Right.
Yeah, and even if you're talking more about JJ, I'm talking about steals and pressure defense, and like the one goal she gave me when I got here was I want to be the all-time steals leader at West Virginia. That was it. That was the goal. And well, you're gonna press. You're gonna get opportunity to get. And she ended with almost like 100 steals, I think, on the season. And so she got the opportunity, but she just, I think the philosophy just fit.
Yeah.
I've said it before on this show a bunch, not necessarily while you were here, but throughout the season, we had a chance to be up close with your team a lot, as I have a younger daughter that plays basketball and has been to all your camps and stuff. You did have a wonderful group of kids that not only were great players, but understood how to interact with those youth and those kids. So that's obviously super important. That helped lead to that chemistry, because you just had good kids that got it. Did seeing that group and how they came together and what that meant, did it change any of your approach to recruiting and things you would ask or things you would try and uncover about a recruit, or maybe just reinforce what you were trying to do? Or I guess meaning, can you recruit culture? Can you recruit the right kids? When does talent outweigh personality and behavior? How do you judge that?
Yeah, no, once you get a healthy locker room, you really, really want to try to keep it healthy. And so culture is character to me, right? The buzzword is culture, and that sounds cool, but what does that mean? Like, to me, it's what's inside you, what's your character, and then collectively, what's our character? And, when you see them interact with the kids at camps or clinics and those things, well, that's part of who you are. That's your character. When things are going really difficult, do you have any resiliency about you? And that was our team word this year that they came up was resiliency. And so how do you act when things aren't going your way? And, we had a player whose father passed away this fall, and the team rallied around her. And, our player, somehow, some way just was phenomenal through that process and how she did it. So there were things that happened throughout the year. And then we get them, out in the middle of nowhere for our team retreat, and they start talking about their goals. And then we did a whole family presentation, which I kind of stole a little bit from Neil Brown. You've been in their facility, they have like the family wall, and I think some of that was off from the coal miners who have a family wall before they go down. And so I thought that was really neat. But we asked them to bring a picture of, the most important people to them, whoever that was, and then they had to get up in front of the group and talk about it. Like, what does that mean to you? And who are these most important people? And so you got to hear some stories that you wouldn't otherwise hear. And so we just really, really grew together. And so now when you get it as strong as we have it, it's pretty strong. And not that we won't just bring somebody in that doesn't have good character, but also when it's this strong, if somebody maybe doesn't quite have that character, they don't have a choice when they come now. Because you're either going to adapt to where we are, or you're going to go and never be a part of it, even once you get here.
So that's got to be part of the discussion, right? When you're recruiting is not just that person individually, but how they mesh with those other kids.
Yeah, no doubt. And we ask our kids, like, we've been on the visits here lately, and we'll ask them, hey, what'd you think? How'd this kid interact? What do we say? And they'll tell us, and I want them to tell us, and we've had one somewhat recently that the kids were like, I'm not sure, coach. I don't know about the fit. They're like, good. That's what we want to know. Really talented kid, but maybe not worth the risk, or we think maybe we see something different. We've known them a little longer than them through the recruiting process. So maybe we give it a try, and then we just know we have such a strong locker room that kid will kind of fall in line and be okay. But if you don't have a strong locker room, you absolutely can't do that. Yeah. If you have a strong locker room, then you may be able to take a chance here or there.
How do you know? I mean, how do you know? I mean, you're doing your research, obviously, and you're talking to coaches, talking to all the people, but you get to a point where maybe it's 60-40. Okay, the character, okay, it's it's good, but it could be better. But the talent is. I mean, when it's a close call, what tips the scale?
Talent. Talent always tips the scale. No, I mean, yes and no. I mean, you just do your homework. And keep in mind, and here's what I've learned. This is what I've also said with like recruiting in particular. The difference here versus like at the mid-major SFA is how many other people we have to talk to here before we ever even get to talk to the kid. And so by the time you actually even get to the kid, you have a pretty good idea of their character.
How many have you talked to?
How many kids or how many people like per kid?
Like who do you have?
Yeah, no, there's probably
so
three or four.
You're talking people that are around the kid that are helping the recruiting process or handlers.
You could have a high school coach, AAU coach, skills trainer, maybe agent, business manager, momager, whatever.
Got a momager.
That's a new. I like that term.
Oh
momager.
Yeah, no, we got some
Chris
momagers.
Kardashian term.
Yeah, and then
first I've heard of that.
And then you talk about
you don't follow the Kardashians.
No, I don't.
And what is your and you don't have to go through the whole thing, but at each level, then what's your elevator speech? What's your pitch?
Well, I mean, it depends on which one of those, because it's kind of different for each kid, But here's what else has happened too, though, and this isn't necessarily going to answer your question, but it might. Is that Iowa game changed recruiting and how those conversations
Yeah, you told me that, yeah.
Yeah, so like it used to be a 10-minute, we're in Morgantown, or you ever even been to West Virginia? No, I haven't. Well, what do you know about our team? Have you ever seen us play?
No.
I have not. Well, let me tell you how we play. Oh, man, we got some really good talent on this team. We got this All-American guard. Like, you would love to play with these kids. Great character, locker room, da-da-da. Takes 10 minutes. Now, coach, man, y'all played so good at Iowa. Those kids, y'all's defense is unbelievable. I would love to get to play in that. Man, what a great culture you have. Y'all handled yourselves with class. That officiating wasn't very good, but I loved what you said in the post-game press conference. 20 seconds later, I just got everything that I normally would take me 10 minutes, and I'm just still painting a picture, and now they actually have the picture in their mind. So that's changed some of the elevator speech, to go back to your original question. But it just depends on who you're talking to. We still pull it back to the same stuff, though, in the recruiting is how does that kid fit our program? And then high school recruiting is way different than portal recruiting because obviously a timeline. But the portal kids, they don't care about the football game anymore and the pageantry and what your hotel room decorations look like. That doesn't matter. It's never like that again.
Okay.
And then the portal kids know that doesn't matter. They just, how do I fit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
More mature.
How much can I? What do you think my playing time is? Where do you see my role? What are my teammates like? Where do I live? Where do I eat? And some of them, if they're older, they don't even care about school as much anymore. They're already graduates, and they maybe are just kind of hanging on because they get their COVID year or something.
And how much you going to pay me?
Yeah, that gets in there too at some point. Some earlier in the conversation, some, not so much. And it still comes up, maybe not quite as quickly as you would think, but it won't be too many conversations in. But it doesn't come up in the first 20 minutes or anything like that.
All right.
I'm always interested when you make a transition, as you did, in coaching from group of 5 to power 5. Yes, it's the same game. Yes, it's X and O's. What changed for you, or did you have any moments when you were coaching at this level this year that are significantly different or not?
I mean, just from the flat coaching, like X and O side, I don't think there wasn't a ton, not nearly as much as one might think. I mean, really coaching is coaching. Now you got bigger bodies, you got better athletes, you change a few things schematically that we didn't have to do, maybe a little more creative, bigger staff. So you're probably scouted a little bit harder, better. So I think as the season went, you have to start getting a little more creative in some of the things you do because they've probably picked up on it. But again, we weren't a true like round robin schedule. So we played some teams at the very end of the year, like in Oklahoma State, who we didn't even see all year. So, it wasn't the situation there. But no, I mean, for the most part, like the way we coach, the way we play I didn't put that in for West Virginia. That's what we did at Stephen F. Austin and West Texas A&M and all the stops.
I think you would agree, and we oftentimes talk about this. Those coaches at lower levels, they're like really, really good coaches because a lot of times they have to do more with less. And so they have to X's and O their brains off.
Yeah, you have to help your kids more at the lower levels because they can't go score on their own, right? Like, I mean, the beauty now is you get a J.J. Quinterly is like, I don't have to get her a wide open shot. I just need to get her in the position, teach her how to play out of that, and there's the shot maybe we're looking for or the play we want you to make. But that kid's so good. Like, I don't have to run her off 15 screens to get her finally open so she can get the open shot. Like, we can just go stick her in a ball screen and then see how they defend it, and whatever you do is probably wrong because that kid's just more talented. So, yeah, those things are kind of fun. That's the fun part is you get better athletes and bigger, even though we weren't necessarily bigger than our opponents. We were bigger than a lot of the teams that I had coached or more athletic, those types of things. So our press was elite because of the kids we had in it. I've never had to, like Jordan and JJ. Like, that's dynamic. That's as elite as it gets in the country. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah. I don't want to fanboy you, but, like, I dig you on the sideline. Like, you are like, I love cool dudes on the sideline when the crap is firing. I love that guy or lady, for whatever matters, that just is completely in control and chill, and nothing seems to be overcoming to them. It's just like, okay, we're going to do this now. I mean, that just sets a complete communication pattern throughout your entire team, and I think that's the way it's supposed to be done, right?
Yeah, the older I get, the better I've been at that. When I was younger, I'd be in there like shaking them, and this isn't it, and come on, this isn't good enough, and we had a few of those moments, but not very many. But I've said this too throughout the year. I thought our team also allowed me to be that way because they were very straight-lined, even keel. Like that was just the personality of the team, and they didn't say a lot. I want them to be more vocal and at times have more energy. And early in the season, we get to practice and I'm trying to fight them on energy. Like, this is so boring. Why do we not have any energy? And, they didn't always say it, but they're looking at you like, what are you talking about, coach? Like, we're fine. Like, we're competing. Like, kind of trust us. And so you start to go through the season, and of course, trust grows. Bank account is what I like to call it. The bank account just keeps getting,
you won 13 in a row.
Yeah, and the bank account just keeps going up. And so we had a couple of those, maybe halftime speeches, maybe a timeout here and there, but there really were not very many. And then we got to Iowa in that third quarter media timeout between the third and the fourth, and we had just gotten down 10. We were playing them great. They go on the run to end the third, and I walked into that huddle. And there weren't many huddles that I actually honestly walked into where I felt like we communicated as a team enough before I got in there. But I went into that huddle, and they had it. They were like, well, let's go, coach. We've been in this situation before. We know what to do. We're going to go punch first. That's kind of our term. We're going to go punch first in this fourth quarter. And then we went on the 10-0 run. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I said a whole lot in that timeout. I mean, I'm sure I probably gave them the first play to go run or the defensive, that we were going to be in. But then we go on the 10-0 run, and the game's tied with 5 to go. And they're like, yep, got you, coach. And it was great.
When a coach has a team that can self-coach, you got it.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, if they can run the locker room and, self-discipline, self-coach, then you've made it.
We'll come back to that Iowa game here in a minute because I want to dive a little bit deeper on that. But let's talk what you were just referring to stylistically, and let's do a little bit of numbers. We're not still doing our stats segment, are we?
Are you?
Well,
No, which we said not
mean,
yet.
but
I'm gonna give you a stat. You know, like we
Sure.
like to talk stats here. Numbers.
Yeah.
I can give you this. Hang on a second. This is, I think this is. I gave you 3 seconds. There you go. Still had that under mothball.
This is just really short. Just some basic numbers here. So let's talk offense and defense for a second. So about 56% of your shots came in the lane, 36% roughly from 3, and only about 8% came outside the lane from 2. So I got a 2-part question. Offensively, is that about where you want to be philosophically? And then number 2, defensively, and you kind of answered this. How close was this year's version of the defense to where ideally you want it to be?
So to the offense, so we call that your shot diet. So what's our shot diet? So rim, mid-range, and 3. So no, that would be pretty accurate. A lot of us getting to the rim is in transition too, which you naturally probably have a numbered advantage. So you better be, getting there. The threes, it was a little, at times I thought we relied on it too much. Even in Iowa, we needed to drive some of those open threes when we were missing them. We didn't have a tremendous back-to-basket kid that we could just dump it to at times. So there's times we're taking threes when probably should have been throwing it to somebody inside. So still got to work on that. Mid-range, I'm an analytic guy. It's not like you can't do it, but I want to be selective with it. If you're elite at it, which JJ's pretty good. I don't know that the numbers are elite, but she's above average at mid-range. So, we rely on that a little bit. I think late game, it becomes pretty important because it's hard to get to the rim the later the game goes. So sometimes that mid-range shot is pretty good and she can get it off. From the defensive side, that was, other than the rebounding, that's what we would look like defensively. The ability to press, play man, play zone. We played a lot of zone throughout the year, but against Iowa, we only 2 possessions all game of zone. So we completely switched that up in that game. But yeah, just being versatile, making teams uncomfortable on defense. There'll be turnovers and, lots of offense from our defense. That will be our staple.
Did that surprise you that the defensive system matched as well as it would? I had to assume in first year you thought, we probably can't do it exactly like I want to do it. Then you get here and you have that personnel as you talk about.
It really all happened quicker on both ends. Although we were elite defensively, I think top 5 or 10 in the country defensively just about all year. And I think we ended top 40 or 50 in offense. And so I think, and you may know the stats more than me, but I want to say the national champions in men's and women's basketball typically are in the top 30, I think, in both categories, something
top
like
25
that.
Generally,
Offense and defense. You can't just rely on one end. And so the offense caught up to us a little bit, obviously, in the Iowa game. We were hanging on to our defense late in the year, which just means now possessions are coming down and games are a little bit closer. And I don't know that was great for us, but that's typically what happens in the postseason. And so we got to clean up the rebounding, but stylistically, yes, what we look like this year should be kind of what it looks like moving forward. Yeah.
When you prep for Iowa, did you watch tape and do the scouting report and think, oh man, this is going to be a problem? Or did you think, oh, we can play with these guys? What did you think?
Yeah, and I think typically, even if it wasn't Iowa, the first game or so that I watch, I think I always think, oh my gosh, they're really good. And then when you start to, you keep going and keep going and dive in a little more, you're like, oh, okay, now I think we can attack that. Okay. Oh, we can go do this. Oh, here's a pretty good idea. And so, yeah, going into that, we really had 2 coaches that were kind of scouting Iowa. Going into that, we had Princeton ready to go too. We were not looking ahead to Iowa. That everybody liked to kind of think that after my comment, that's what I was getting.
And by the way, I know we quickly jumped to the Iowa game for obvious reasons. That was a really good win over a talented Princeton team.
That was a bad.
We can't just dismiss that you won your first game in the NCAA tournament because the Iowa game was so
the
massive.
Iowa game's getting all the attention, but you got to win the first one to get to that one. And Princeton had been really good, had won their first round game against Power Fives the previous 2 years with, some really, really good players. So no, that was a really good win for us, and we defended really well, had a great third quarter, to get Princeton. But no, the more we watched Iowa, we really started to believe, and our players believed the whole time. But I was so proud of them because that was a crash course scouting report, and we changed almost our whole defense for that game, and out of bounds defense. We had never defended an out of bounds defense the way we did against Iowa the entire season. But we had to because of Caitlin Clark and how good she is. And so we had to change stuff. And literally, like I said, we played probably 50% zone all year, literally only played 2 possessions, and that was just ended the quarters when Caitlin had the ball and they were going to go high ball screen for them. I'm not going to let that happen, so we're going to go zone when they call that action. So those were the 2 possessions that we went zone. They didn't score off of either of those. So, yeah, the more we watched, the more we thought we had a chance. But I'm telling you, we had film session after that. After we beat Princeton, we brought him in, kind of gave him just a little film. Next day, we had a whiteboard session. We had all sorts of stuff up on the whiteboard on how we wanted to go. We came back and did like their plays and stuff the next morning, went to shoot around, came back. And we didn't practice. Like we were too late in the year. I was like, what are we going to do? Run up and down and do Caitlin Clark in the full court? I'm like, no chance. So we walked through it all that day, and then obviously shoot around the following day to prepare. But our kids were dialed in.
Defensively, you mentioned some tweaks there. You also, I thought, did a great job of picking Caitlin up early. So when they try and outlet that pass, it seemed like whoever was closest to her at the time, match her and find her and at least slow that down a little.
Yeah, no, you're right on. So we call that the pickup point. So we moved our pickup point from, normally pickup point might even be almost down at your 3-point line, maybe toward half court. It was wherever she is or whoever she's guarding, you guard her. So if you were guarding me and I shoot and you're Caitlin Clark, now I have you. So I'm staying right there next to you. And the luxury for us is we legitimately had 5 kids that we felt comfortable could guard Caitlin Clark. Yeah. 5 of them, and so we weren't overly worried about it in the open floor. Now, a dead ball matchup, we were going to get the right person on her, but we wanted the littles on her. We wanted the bigger, stronger kids on her. She has some tendencies that we were trying to take away, that I would have loved to have practiced for a couple days, but we didn't have that. And our kids, though, they were good. We made a few mistakes, but for the most part,
so that was a huge advantage because you used all 5 players at some point on her even during the game. So you mentioned rebounding and maybe a lack of size for you all year, but there weren't many teams that played Iowa that had the ability to go all 5 defenders on the floor on Clark.
No, there weren't, and everybody was talking about our game plan and other teams should have been stealing it, as the tournament went on, and y'all defended them better than anybody. I'm like, well, yes, but I don't know that everybody had 5 kids that could defend like our 5 perimeter kids. That's part of it. It was the game plan, but let's give credit to our players. They're the ones that actually had the talent to go out there and make her life, a little more difficult.
As they advanced into the tournament and they get toward the end, you're watching, I'm assuming, and they say, Caitlin Clark says that West Virginia's defense was the best that she faced all season. Does that piss you off more, or does that make you proud of what you guys were able to do?
No, I don't know. I don't think it pisses me off a whole lot. Probably more pride than anything. The only thing, the disappointing part for me was just that we weren't quite as good offensively as I would have liked to be. And they they played zone and triangle and 2, and they were trying to do anything and everything. And I thought we got a lot of open looks we just didn't make. So some of it you live with. Some of it I'm like, man, I should have maybe got Jordan or JJ a few more looks because that's who in the triangle and 2, that was the 2. And so I wish we could have done just a little bit more offensively to be a little bit better. But I thought we were elite defensively all year, all year long. I just thought we could defend even with our lack of size and lack of rebounding. I thought we did a phenomenal job defensively, and we made up for the possessions with our steals. So that's how we counteracted the lack of rebounding. Was we led the country in turnover margin. We were number 1. So, and we weren't last in rebounding. So
that's a fair trade. You were okay with that trade.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a trade. We were still ahead on that. Yeah. We were still ahead in that area. So
3 guys before the game is brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. As you know, Coach's office is over at the basketball practice facility, which is parallel to Mon River. And when Coach came down today, he just took the pontoon boat that Lou Wendell had sent down there, came right through, took off, and
parked it at the 3 guys dock.
That's maybe unconfirmed at this point.
We're at Spruce Street. So there's inside Lou Wendell Marine Sales. They happen to be the premier pontoon boat dealer in the state of West Virginia. And right now the supply of items that they have when it comes to your boat are at a all-time season high. So as they say, get them while they're hot. And
those trailer wheels in there?
Well, they got
Is that
everything.
what that was? Different sizes.
You got vests. You got life vests. Anything that you want. You probably have a big selection of horns too, that kind of stuff.
Fish finder.
Yeah. Oh, they got fish finders. In fact, as a matter of fact, on the 2023 Avalon Tri-Tune Venture 85, which is the 3 guys special, it's absolutely a standout boat. And there it is right now, and that baby is calling your name. So again, they've been in business for nearly 50 years. Lou Wendell Marine Sales, located in St. Albans. Check them out at LouWendellMarineSales.com.
Hold on one sec. Can we go back 2 pictures there?
Back
to the inside. There's some rafts and
you mean the
tubes up
the
top
tubes.
there?
Yeah, the tube
there.
Yeah.
Can we talk to the folks that can I get some better pictures there? I might be in the market for one of those.
What's that now?
I'm in the market for one of those.
One of those tubes?
I need one at least 3 passenger.
Well, it's the Avalon boat. I mean, they sell those are quality rafts and things of that nature, but also the Avalon pontoon boat manufactured here in the United States, and they could probably get you a raft.
I want to see some of that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Raft or two?
Ours was heavy usage last summer. We're handles it.
I should, Chuck might have one.
Handles.
My neighbor, Chuck.
Not using it?
Why wouldn't
No, not use it. Sell it to you.
Why wouldn't you ever water ski?
Well, I'm
Mark?
going to talk to Lou and Wendell people, see if they can give me a better price
Is
than
that
what
right?
Chuck.
Hey,
I mean, all due respect to Chuck. So you going to give me a good deal?
Oh, yeah. I'll give you a good deal.
We'll talk to Lou Wendell.
he water skis.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Can you swallow them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
and I
wow.
don't kick it either. I can, that's what everybody does now. They get up on two and then kick one.
Yeah. No,
But
you get up
that
on
doesn't
one.
count. Yeah.
And that's hard to get up on one.
Yeah,
That's
it
hard.
is. Yeah. We grew up on that. We grew up.
Kick it.
Grew up wakeboard. Yeah, all that good stuff. I hadn't done it now in a couple years, but. So I think, I say I could do it. I'm assuming I still can. I don't know.
I don't know. Skills erode fairly quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's been a few years.
Well, we'll be out at Cheat Lake Sunday afternoon with the coach.
Don't worry, going to get the boat fired up. We'll have video of that on one of our next three guys.
Let's do that.
Sounds like Coach might want to retract that
Yeah,
statement.
right.
So
I'm gonna go practice before
Qualify it, maybe.
So
Do a little walkthrough on that.
if you don't see him on the lake, chances are he'll be at Gomart, and Gomart is the official convenience store of Three Guys Before the Game. Get your rewards card. Mark, we're going down to Charleston here Monday for the scholarship dinner. We'll pass by about 297.
I was about to say there'll be a few of those.
Gomarts along the way. We just might pull over, get ourselves moon pie, a Mountain Dew, 6-pound Reese cup, and a Slim Jim as long as a fly rod, plus about 90 gallons of gasoline. Even if my tank only holds 30, I'm gonna put 60 somewhere else.
So,
and get your rewards card and save.
Yeah. Every 15 miles or so, probably, right? Maybe
You
less.
going to stop the world headquarters there in Flatwoods?
Flatwoods.
The double store?
Center of the universe.
Yeah.
A year ago when you went to that scholarship dinner, like everything's new. Like it's a way. Now you're going to be like a rock star. Like you're going to be walking in and people are going to be running up to you. You know that.
Oh, I'm not
Mood
sure
has
about that.
changed. Oh, no.
But I do know, I remember last year, and I hadn't been here obviously very long, and so this was my first. And so it started with, well, I didn't know what to wear. So I get in with, this was Ren and Steve Urias. I was driving down with them, and I've probably got on something, like slacks and like, a shirt like this.
Yeah.
And they're in full suit, like suits. I'm like, good joke, guys. New guy. Like, no one gives me the dress code. And they're like, well, don't worry about it. Hugs will be there. Like, you'll be fine. You'll never be the, the worst dressed person in the room. Hugs will be there. But anyway, so we walked in that night into the like convention center, right where it was. And we come up at the higher level and you take the escalator down and there was kind of like the opening. Yeah. Well, and there was already several hundred people probably there at kind of the social at that point. Yeah. Well, they all start flocking to the escalator going down. I was like, where is everybody going? And I was like, are they coming to say hi to Coach Kellogg? And then it's like, no, I just walk right over here. I don't know a soul. And it was to get in line to talk to Bob Huggins. And so I got a few stragglers over there who figured out, maybe who I was that wanted to have a
Somebody asked you for a nice tea or something.
Yeah. Can you
get me a tea? Can you get me a...
Well, hell,
your line will be bigger this year.
Yeah,
he is right on that. Your line will be bigger.
I'll just know a few more people.
Well,
I mean, the line will be bigger, but at least I'll recognize some people.
And in the fact, the course of a year and 15 days, he also now is probably second in the department in seniority. I mean, shoot. There we go. Things happen. Things are on the move out. So recruiting-wise, as you said, you've had a man. You guys announced a recruit yesterday named Sydney Shaw. She'll transfer in from Auburn. What is your messaging to your staff as to what particular type of student athlete you want to continue to fill the roster with? What are you looking for?
Yeah, well, we just have the holes that we know. We lose three players, Tavi Diggs in the post, and then Lauren Fields and Jayla Hemingway that kind of man that 3 position, if you want to call it that, or the third guard. And we didn't really have a backup to Jordan or JJ. I mean, it was really those 4 guards, and occasionally we slid Kaya Watson over there just a little bit.
Only team in the country that started all 5 players every single game.
Yeah, no, the continuity was fantastic for us, and so we know what those holes are. We need depth. We need talent. We need depth. We need to infuse it with a little bit of that. We had 2 kids hurt, so hopefully they're on their way back. And so there's a lot of minutes there. It's kind of what the sell is. We have a third guard. We graduated both of them that essentially played 40 minutes there. So somebody's got the opportunity to come in and kind of earn that. And then there's, JJ and Jordan played too many minutes. So if you just say, oh, they're going to play 30 next year, well, there's still 20 at those two positions. So somebody needs to come in and fill that. So Sydney was one of those kids that could probably play all three of the guard positions. She was a big-time recruit out of high school, went to DME down in Florida, top 40 kid in the country, I believe, could really score it. So, has had a good career at Auburn, started the majority of her career in the SEC, was just looking for, something a little bit different.
How much size do you need?
Yeah, I mean, we need it. The hardest part is just finding
Where
it.
is it?
It's like, I mean, literally, we had talked to a kid, this was maybe 3 weeks ago. Kid went in the portal, 6'5", averaged 4 points a game, played at a Power 5 school. In 24 hours, she had 55 schools contact her and offer.
How many? I'm sorry, 55?
55. In 24 hours, she averaged 4 a game.
Mm-hmm.
4 a game at a Power 5
Did
school.
you see, well, it's just they're getting bigger. I mean, you watch South Carolina. I mean, they're just like giants. It's just and it's hard to
they
find.
Are. Yeah, they are. I mean, like in the Big 12, I mean, we weren't huge, but, it's the Aoka Lees and the Audie Crooks. And, there was, five games of the league schedule. You're like, oh, crap, we don't match it. The other ones, I never felt like it was just like, holy cow,
sure,
what are we going to do?
But stylistically, though, you also can't just go straight big because of the style you want to play, right? So you got to be athletic as well as big.
Ideally, they need to move a little bit. But, I mean, we've had bigger posts that we can kind of hide, so to speak, or put him in the back, or even use like Danelle for us, Eric Babu. She can still function in our system, even though she's not the fastest kid. And so her minutes may, come down just because of. But, if they get in shape, no, we can handle it, and we need some size. So we're trying to hit on it.
If you had a 6'4" player, you'd adjust.
No, we can definitely do that. Yeah, we will adjust to some size if size has got some talent.
The television ratings were record-setting, astronomical. It appears as though women's basketball has reached a seminal moment that's going to continue in the sense that earlier this week, the WNBA draft drew just this massive number. Obviously, it's the Caitlin Clark effect. Put it into perspective what you think what has just happened this season. Caitlin Clark, among other things happening in the women's game. Where do you think the women's game is right now, and what do you see this leading to?
Yeah, well, and I think I would go back a year because you remember the Final Four a year ago kind of started a lot of this, or the NCAA tournament. That's where I thought women's basketball picked up the most momentum it had ever had, and then it carried into this year. And Caitlin Clark is certainly probably front and center of that and the greatest scorer we've ever had. But you have the Angel Reeses and the entire, even Kim Mulkey as a coach, Dawn Staley. I mean, you're getting, Gino's been around and his team. So you're getting still some legends and some new, fresh, women that are dominating this. And I think Caitlin Clark was the most recognizable college basketball name, male or female. Isn't that?
No question.
Probably.
No, you don't have to say, I think.
I think that's fair. That's the name people know. And so that's been great for our game. We were at Iowa in that environment, and you can see what she's done to, just to Iowa City. But I think I saw, too, that she sold out every game she played in all year, home and on the road.
Yes.
Every venue she went to on the road sold out, and that is the Caitlin Clark effect. So, I think it's at an all-time high. I hope we can continue this. I hope it isn't just Caitlin Clark, though. I hope we are bigger and better than that. We outdrew the men in their national championship versus the women's national championship. So, I think we're at an all-time high. I'll be interested to see kind of just what happens even from can we get these first games to a neutral floor? Are we there yet?
Mm-hmm.
With, some attendance numbers, or do we need to keep them at campus sites? It's quite an advantage, and that's what I said leaving Iowa City. I was like, all right, now I got to get this thing in Morgantown somehow because, man, that would be electric if we could, have a round of 32 here, first round game.
You imagine if you had Iowa here?
Yeah, no.
You imagine if you had Iowa in Albany or on a neutral floor?
Yeah, but I want that for our fans because that was special. It was special for us to play in it, and they weren't even cheering for us. I could only imagine what it was like if they're on your side.
She glared at you during the timeout?
Yeah, she was staring me down going back to her huddle.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. I told her after the game, we got beat, I'm good, so we're going through the handshake line, and I was like, hey, great game, Caitlin, you're a heck of a competitor. And she was like, I heard what you said. I heard what you said. That's what she said to me twice. So she says it back twice. I heard what you said. I was like, I'm sure you did. I'm not surprised. I'm trying to give you the, you got us, congrats, and she wanted nothing of it. She was still in her
game mode.
Yeah.
Competitor mode.
Yeah. She was in competitor game mode, and that's okay. I wasn't
So what'd you say to her?
I just kept on going. Went to the next player in line. I was like, all right. Like,
that's fine.
She was there. I mean, she was still in that,
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to get through to her, which I wasn't trying to get through to her. I just wanted her to know that it wasn't really personal. I was just trying to fire up a fan base and my team, and you take it that way, that's okay.
You explained that well.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But, man, their fans were all over me for that. I mean, I've said this, too. I may have said it to Hoppy. I can't remember, but like one fan went back to my Valentine's Facebook post to my wife to tell me I made the greatest mistake of my life talking trash to Caitlin Clark.
Give him credit for digging back.
Like, man, he went all the way back to a Facebook post in February to let me know how he thought.
Speaking of the women's game advancing, maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment here, but I've been following this for a long time. It feels like this, and you named some of them there. It feels like this is the most star-based women's college basketball has been in a long time. So not quite to the NBA level where it's so star-driven, but it feels like there's a lot of great players. I'd count JJ in that mix here locally. Is that a fair assessment? You think I'm being a prisoner of the moment? I feel like there's more individual names, a Juju Watkins, a Paige Beckers. We can go right down the list there that individuals have seemed to step forth a little bit more.
Well, I think so. And I think some of that, though, is coming from social media and their social media following outside of sport. Like Caitlin Clark's on a State Farm commercial, so we all see her. Paige Beckers has been doing that for quite some time. And now Juju's coming in, and
or Angel Reese doing
Angel
those
Reese
things,
and the Bayou Barbie and all of,
Yeah.
What she has, and giving beats to the men's team because she's got a deal with beats. So I think it's the marketability outside of sport. But you're right, that's polarizing, and that's what NBA is too.
Yeah.
And so that's what's drawing in these viewers is these women are polarizing. Like, these are polarizing figures. That's would be my challenge to JJ, though. She is a player at close to that level, but she needs to grow her marketing, social media outside of her sport.
Sure.
And that's what that other cast of characters, Haley Van List and those Cavender twins, you remember them, like that's what they did. And that's the difference.
That's interesting, though. But that that goes back to what you were just saying before about the social media firestorm, about what you said. That did create a little bit of a soap opera backstory to that game that wouldn't have been there necessarily, right? That was certainly overblown based on what you said and where you said it. But that adds to a little bit of the national narrative, too, that helps dry eyeballs.
Yeah, no, it did. I mean, you pulled up ESPN after I said it, and it was WVU's Kellogg,
No question.
and it's right there, like on the third line. You're like, oh, okay, like great. Now, but we got great like for a loss, we got as much out of that game as you could probably get.
Agree.
It was you had the audience.
Agree, because the narrative isn't Iowa won or you lost. It was you played great. You played them as tough as anybody, and the officials screwed you.
Yeah.
That was the narrative.
Right.
You won everything except the game.
Right.
In the national exposure, and that you can't ask for anything better other than to win the game, which you normally are not in a situation to get that.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah.
Man, if you and the reality of it is, if you're in West Virginia and you ever lose a game because the officials screwed you, you got a statue coming your way. I mean, it's right. That's bottom line. Like, that's perfect.
You remember back in 2024?
I'll tell you. And listen, in 10 years,
Caitlin Clark got every call.
10 years from now, you're going to find out, holy cow, I forgot we won that game. Oh, yeah, that's how it's going to go.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Coach, and also, welcome to West Virginia. West Virginians never forget. So you might come back here after retirement. You'll be 90 years old. You'll be sitting there in the sun with a napkin over your knees, and somebody say, Coach, I remember when you got screwed in Iowa game.
Out in Iowa City.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll be like, and what happened was both teams went in the locker room. West Virginia won the game. They were celebrating, and the officials went in, and they told them they had to take 3 points off the board, and that's how they lost. Can you believe that happened? It's unbelievable. It happened. It happened.
Last thing on that, and we'll move on from that. Experience-wise, and again, I know programs in your business isn't built on moral victories, as we just outlined there, but I would think your players walk away from that years down the road and remember that experience in front of a sold-out building on the road, and that there had to be some joy taken out of that as well, and I'm certainly that grows as the years go on.
Yeah,
fair?
No, extremely fair. Yeah, no, it was a great environment. It is something we will remember, forever. And as they get together or talk, and years later they're going to remember it. But yeah, as Tony's talking about, the stories embellish over time too, and so we'll probably tell it a little differently than how it actually happened. But no, it is what college basketball is all about. And if you can get it to feel like that, and again, that's what motivated me, I guess, from there was, man, I just want to create that here. Like, I think we could do that here, and how much fun that would be. I'm glad our kids got to experience. I just want them to get that same experience.
But for the game, if you take a snapshot of that moment in time, that was the story, and you all played a big part in that story for that moment. There was some historical perspective, I think, to this run and that moment that you guys were right smack in the middle of, which I think is pretty cool to walk away with.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we've gotten some good stuff, and we've clipped it up off ESPN and, all the different coverages talking about our elite defense and the clips and, different commentators talking about it, and Pat McAfee saying I'm a dog or something like that, came out. So we've got that clipped up. So there was just some really good stuff that came from it. And so, again, that's this momentum that we have. We just need to try to continue to captivate it.
Tony, were you here when the women's team was way back when Rosemary Historic, when they went to the Sweet?
Yeah, beat Clemson. Jody Runner hit a shot right in the circle.
Lined up.
Knocked it down.
I think – Coach, that might have been the balance out, because West Virginia might have got a call or two and might have gotten a whistle in that game.
Why would you say that?
I'm sure they did a perfect job, called it right down the line. It was exactly fair.
No, that was a good game. Hey, this is what I think.
Nice job.
My prediction is that what you guys did this season will propel the WV women's basketball program into next season at a level of interest that has never been seen before in program history. I truly believe that. I think when you guys put the ball up for the first time next season, you will continue to live off of your performance from this season. I think it'll do this all season.
No pressure.
I really do.
No pressure.
Yeah,
Truly do.
I mean, it's okay. That's what we want, though. Like, we don't look at it as pressure necessarily. It's what you want as a coach and a program. And we got done with the year and we had the second highest attendance in school history. I thought, man, well then let's go then. Like, I do think there's some momentum, and that was even before obviously the Iowa game and the Princeton win. And so I think season ticket sales are already higher than they've ever been, off of that. So I think we're on our way. There's still plenty of work to be done, and we don't want to settle and let this be what we're defined by, right? Let's not be defined by this. I hope we talk about a lot of other wins and close games and, NCAA tournament wins as we get going. But up to date, this is pretty fun to talk about in year one.
So you had your banquet last night. So that's kind of old school. Do you do zany things like cheapest kid on the team, best dressed kid on? You do that stuff too?
No, we don't. We're not we do like blooper reels, kind of like the behind the scenes, and then we do like the true like on the court like air balls and dribble off your foot, like kind of have fun with them. And I don't give out like a million. I don't do MVP and offensive MVP, but we have a charge board, so we keep track of charges. So that's something most people wouldn't know. So Jordan Harrison dominated that one, and screen assists. Y'all know
screen assists.
Oh, here we go.
Let's go.
We're getting good now. Yeah. Here we go, Kirchhoff. Dig in. Now we're getting in the weeds here. Go.
Screen assist. So, kind of like even in a hockey where, like multiple people can get an assist. Like so if you set a screen and we score and that helps get us open, we want to recognize the person that did that.
Good deal.
Right? That's really important to us. So we keep track of screen assists. So we really had a 3-person race all year. And this is usually one for the post players. Like they tend to set more. So Kylie and Tavi and Danelle were in a race all the way through, and Danelle actually, like the last couple games, separated. So Danelle got the screen assist award. So that's something we like to recognize, things that you just, you may not, people wouldn't know that, and they don't talk about that. And then we give out an academic award, so our top person in the classroom. And then we do a Mountaineer award as the last one, and that's just the kid that truly represents us in every way. Obviously they have to have a talent on the floor.
Who won that?
That was Jayla Hemingway.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
We had her on the show. She's really, really good.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah, she loves this place and loved the program and just had invested so much in it. So we thought that was certainly well-deserved for her. And then, Jordan and JJ got all of their basketball hardware, and JJ couldn't even carry it in one hand. But they got all of that. And then, of course, you recognize the seniors, and we give them a really cool kind of poster that we do for them. So, yeah, it was a great night.
JJ blossomed this season, not only on the court, but off the court. She went, my perception, from very timid / uncomfortable to doing media to, and I texted you after that Baylor game. Yeah. And she went right up in there. And then I just look at her in these post-game, this NCAA stuff. It's just like she did a 180. Do you agree with that?
I do. And obviously I didn't know her before a year ago, but she's in a year. She has completely come out of her shell, and, can communicate, and there's still another level to get to for her. But, man, yeah, she's come a long way.
That's a while.
Hey, she gets to be herself, right? Be you.
Be you.
Showed up
JJ.
to youth games. She was a big hit when she'd show up to youth games on her own. Not saying she did
she
show
loves
up.
kids. Like, JJ will truly, she will invest and hang around the kids. And, of course, it's the you love them, they love you back whole, kind of thing. But you will hang out at the Country Road Gates after one of our games. There's probably about 20 or 30 kids waiting on J.J. Quinterly.
I think I'm going to steal that screen assist for the Howe household.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Little Kendall House stat. So when she gets bummed out, she didn't get the ball. Right? Big, sometimes when you're little, don't get the ball enough. We're going to have a little chart on that screen assist. I'm taking
ball
that.
screens, down
I'll
screens,
credit you.
get in the
I'll
way.
footnote.
Yeah, you don't have to credit me. You can take it.
You know what else would be kind of neat, Hoppy, is if
What?
you got a BU tattoo. That'd be kind of neat. What do you think, Brad? Because he's self-actualized. He keeps telling us he's self-actualized. Why don't you get a BU?
Well, because I tell you why. Because I got this far without any ink. You know,
You're
I
just
don't
going to
think
run it?
I'm
You're
just
just
going
gonna run with
to
it?
run it.
Yeah.
Coach, on the BU, how do you handle it when you stress BU, you're an individual BU, but don't be that much you? I imagine that comes up from time to time.
No, it does a little bit. I mean, some of the characters, too, the ones that have personality, they got to rein it in at the right time. So it's like, when can you be yourself? And then there's times, like, the other part of that is align with us. So, like,
Yeah,
right,
okay, yeah. Well,
pull down and align with what we're trying to do here, please. It's not about you at this particular time.
It's
and
BU as you fit into the us, right?
Yeah, we still play a team sport, so you got to align with what we're trying to accomplish here. So it does a little bit, and like even like Zaya Nugent, who came with me from SFA, who had gotten hurt, and she's all energy and all personality. And if you saw her on the sideline all year, like she is. She always finds the camera somehow, or the camera finds her. But she's one you have to kind of like, all right, Zaya, like, stop being you. Like, align, please. Like, slow down here a little bit.
Let me go back to officials for a second. What's your go-to with officials when you're going up to the line, not going over, but going up to the line to try to get an official's attention? And I'm not talking about bad officials. I'm talking about just how you get your point across. What's your go-to?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. So I learned a while ago, too, if you don't want to be intimidating, kneel and have a conversation as you're, like,
Yeah, that would
you
work.
never get
Yeah, makes
teed up
sense.
when
Makes
you're
sense.
You're
down
below
here.
them physically.
If I'm down here, like, I can say whatever and put my hand over my mouth, but I'm down and they're standing up, like, you're good.
Okay.
And so, like, that's a little strategy that I'll use from time to time.
Because they don't want to be shown up.
Yeah, they don't want to be in, and I'm not that tall of a guy, so I really learned that from a coach that's like a big guy, and so he was like, I have to make sure, like, that I, like, get down low, or I
Makes
look
sense.
like a big intimidating figure. So I'm not that, but I was like, oh no, that's pretty good though. Like, let me get, so I'll be in the kneel or the stance or whatever, and then have that conversation. Other times it's just simple stuff. Like, I know you didn't like that call. Like, there's no way, like, do you like that call? And just kind of messing with them a little bit. And some of them will be like, no, I don't. Honestly, coach, I don't, like, I was like, good. Well, then get me back, give me one back, kind of deal. Other times it's like, you just don't think they're very good and you got to let them kind of ride it, or you don't like the way your team's playing, and so you're trying to,
So if you don't think somebody's very good, but you got to be careful there, what do you say there?
Well, and it's really, I'm never, as we know, you're never changing the call. You're never changing their mind.
Right.
You're just trying to set up the next one.
Right,
That's
right,
all
right.
you're trying
Yeah,
to
yes.
do. And so then, you'll bark or whatever, and then you go down there and they, you're like, okay, now I'll let it roll. But, if they just keep going and it's so lopsided, and that's my only issue. Like, you don't know if it's going to be called one way or the other each game, but it just got to be that way on each end. That's all that you ever want. So a lot of my gripes are that way. You called this against us. Like, they just did the same thing. Like, let's get it then, or let it go and we'll be fine. We'll adjust, but it can't be. And then it's always about the crew. Because you'll get one that calls it a certain way, but the other two won't get on the same page, and now we got a mess as a crew. And so a lot of times that's
But you
what
can
I'm
complain
asking
about
them
one to the other one, right?
Yeah, like, I need y'all to go talk
what is
about
he doing
this.
over there?
Yeah. Like,
you got to
go
help
talk
him
about,
out.
at this time out, I need to see you three talking about this. Like,
Oh, really?
go do that, please. Because I don't want to sit here and do this all game long where I get one of you in front of me and I got to have that conversation, and then we go over. And sometimes it's a strategy like, hey, like, we're going to go press as soon as, if they win the tip, like, we're going at them. Like, I just want you to be prepared. Or late game, like, we're not trying to foul. We want a jump ball here.
Okay.
Don't just go blow it because you think we're not trying to foul. We have the possession area.
Does that work?
Yeah, they won't just go boom on the whistle.
But they know what they're looking for.
Yeah, they do.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's that's
Sometimes they'll come by and say, hey, coach, you want the timeout? They'll ask
they'll
him.
sit there and stare at you, and I'm like, don't look at me, like I'm not calling it. Or like, like, don't look over here. Like, we're going to go here real quick. We're going to, so, yeah, there's games that you play, I guess, with them, but for me, it's just kind of how you navigate it. I've been like a one technical foul a year guy, but I didn't get one this year.
Well, you
There's
get two
a couple
next.
times.
You had a
two
couple
next year.
times.
I tried a
got
couple
close
times.
a couple.
But here, now, I will tell you this, though. At this level, you can say stuff there ain't no way in heck you could ever say at the mid-major level.
Oh, really?
No way.
Really?
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Well, for as bad as you got screwed there, the other game, you should have been able to just absolutely cascade them.
Yeah, no, but I've seen it from, obviously the other benches and other coaches. And I was like, holy crap. Like, y'all just, like, you can say that here? Like, that's, like, really? I can do that? Like, I'd have been tossed at the mid-major level if I even came close to doing that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was a little different. Yeah, I had to get used to it.
That's good. Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Comax Business Systems. The Mountaineer women's basketball team's out recruiting, and they do not stop. So they got a business system right there. I'm not sure if it came from Comax or not. 1 line to 1,000 lines, because they're calling a lot of people. Sometimes you need 1,000 lines. If you're a business owner and you need a new phone system, Comax is the place to be. They'll come in and give you a free estimate. As I said, from 1 line to 1,000 lines, they've got you covered. They are the premier business office people in our state of West Virginia. They also can manage your business data, keep you safe and secure. Visit them at comaxwv.com. Last time you were here, did you stay for textual healing? I've got very limited textual healing today. Would you like? You know what that is?
Bring the coach in.
I don't. It's not ringing a bell.
To it.
Well,
I think
can I
he's gonna
speak on your
stay.
behalf?
Yeah.
Can I be your handler on this?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
I think he's comfortable staying for this role. This isn't the obscene amount of text we normally get. We can manage through that. I think Coach has another 7 or 8 minutes with us. You okay?
Sure. No, we're
7 or 8.
fine.
Can we agree to
7
that?
or 8 be fine.
Okay, good. You're in.
But by no means do we want to stop the recruitment of a student athlete. So you're good for right now. You don't have anyone's like waiting on the door to go.
No, we don't have any recruits here. They're doing their last workout right now, so my assistants are good. So
Okay.
So you got a few minutes.
we're good
Okay,
to go.
good.
So let's do this thing. Let's go. Textual healing. Here we go. Textual healing is brought to us by episode800.com.
What the heck?
All right, please cut to the shot. Hey, look what we got there.
Hey,
would
that
you
was
look
quite
at
the process.
It actually sets up pretty nicely right
that? That
there.
is really Hoppy. You were looking at that. You're
That's
looking
pretty good.
I've been telling you about this.
Did you
No, you
hurt your
haven't.
back lifting that though?
No,
That's
I mean,
heavy.
Olympic athlete. You know it's
Is
not going to
that
hurt.
coal?
No, it's
No.
cement.
Cement?
It's
Not cement?
It's made out of
Cement?
It's made out. No. In West Virginia, you will say cement.
Cement, that's true.
That's cement. So if you could, Austin, can you bring that shot in a little bit tighter, or show a picture of that thing? So that is obviously the state of West Virginia, and there's these folks in Fairmont that make these bad boys, and that thing is sweet.
Look at
You got your northern panhandle, you got your eastern panhandle, you got your
all the
north central,
panhandles.
all the way down southern coalfields, all the way down. You got everything.
Ohio Valley.
Ohio
about state
Valley.
pride.
River Valley.
And so they make these things, and
Potomac Highlands.
the reason I brought it out here,
Lake.
Dolly Sods,
Don't start.
Black
East Bank,
Blackwater
Shillian,
Falls.
Shillian,
Canaan Valley.
Pratt, West Virginia
Snowshoe.
Turnpike, Pax, Eleanor, Gary. All right. So anyway, I think these things are
Green River
awesome.
Valley.
I have one. I have one at home on my porch, and they're really neat. So my thought on this was we might put these on episode800.com to sell them. I got no idea how much they cost. I got no idea how
What
the
do you
heck
mean we might? So we don't know if we're doing this?
No, if people want,
Who made it?
they make them in Fairmont. Got some guys. Got a cement plant down there in Fairmont.
Is that what it is? The company is some guys?
Some
we make
guys
it,
I know. I know people,
well,
Hoppy.
all right.
And
Let him
anyway,
finish. He's on a roll here.
Okay,
so
go
you can they have these in different colors. They have I like the black one. I think the black one stands out, and it weighs like 25 pounds. And you can put it in on your patio. You can put it in your garden. You can put it wherever you want. You put it in your man cave. I think this would look nice in Coach Kellogg's house as well.
We are
It would.
selling these at episode800.com, or we're
No, this is what I'm doing.
we're
If
efforting
you're
it?
in, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing market research.
Like live right now. This is market research.
Live.
And
Live.
here, away we go, Kirchhoff. Just saying stuff that we don't have plans for.
No plans.
Here we go.
As you know, we have a lot of people, almost half of our audience is from outside of the state. So if you're a transplanted mountaineer and you like to have a little mountaineer pride, send me a text and say, hey, I'd like one of those. That's
It's all about pride.
It's
Well, Brian,
what's our line? What is the text line? What is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. You always say it.
Oh,
304.
304-404-4083. Thank you. 304-404-4083. Would you get up now and get rid of that thing? So
I'll get it.
No.
Hoppy,
I'll get it.
no. You'll fall down twice. You're not able to pick it up. A man at your age.
I can get that.
No. Look,
That's
look
insulting.
at the size of that
25.
thing.
25.
Well, I know it's heavy. Cement. It's made out of cement. Yeah.
I can hold it.
Here we go. Here comes a hernia. Want to watch a hernia? Hoppy, listen. They've told you when you leave the home in the morning at the assisted living to stop picking up heavy things. Thank you, Brad. All right, Mark, you're wondering what the hell's going on. Here we go. First one. Hello, this is Mitch from Buchanan. I thought I should point out a long-running misnomer that you speak consistently on your show.
Here we go. Criticism right out of the gate.
You know, since we're all about making corrections on the show, to avoid confusion, it should be noted that you are not getting an actual bourbon barrel, but a bourbon barrel lid. Still a very cool item, but not an actual barrel. And that is confirmed. Anyway, carry on with the regularly scheduled food podcast. So, yeah, you're right. I'm glad, Mitch, that you pointed that out to us. We do sell a bourbon barrel lid. You're right, I'll say lid. And by the way, Mitch, since you want to get into correcting things, you're from Buchanan. How about one of the greatest forgeries of all time? Not all the strawberries in the Buchanan Strawberry Festival are grown in Buchanan. They have to bring them in from Florida.
Don't start now and get us in a big. You don't have to throw down and
just attack the strawberry. Now we're going to have to go be parade marshals as a make good to the strawberry festival.
Well, I mean, if he wants to be correct,
skin.
Strawberry Festival in Buchanan.
No, it was right. He just made a correction, acknowledged the correction, and move on. You don't have to throw down and up the ante here.
Well, I would say this. He probably also has to acknowledge that they bring the strawberries in from Florida.
Jeez.
I mean, Mitch isn't the director of the Strawberry Festival.
This is
Why does he have to speak on behalf of that?
Because it's Tony, because he's thin-skinned.
I'm self-actualized.
No, you're not.
Want to see my BU tattoo?
You're going to get one?
Heck yeah. You win a natty, I will.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. There you go. How about Final Four? You get one if he goes to Final Four?
Don't bait me, Junior. AJ in Pennsylvania writes, I suspect that you know the correct pronunciation is Xavier, not Xavier. Maybe making a connection with Hoppy's exploding egg or merely having fun with your audience the same way that you guys pronounce Ahia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma. Keep up the good work. P.S. You wouldn't believe how hard it was to get the spelling bee that I wanted. In this day of autocorrect, it still might correct itself when I hit send. Hey, Mark, have you ever heard of anyone putting an actual egg inside of a microwave oven?
I have heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Coach.
Our boy did it over there.
Yeah.
Said damn near killed himself.
Didn't go well.
Oh, it didn't, huh?
No.
The door blew open.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't pretty.
Here's
Coach,
another.
Coach, can you cook? Do you cook?
I know. I grill occasionally.
Okay. Checking.
What's your favorite food?
Well, probably like Mexican food.
Really?
If not, I'm the
Tex-Mex.
Yeah,
Tex-Mex.
I mean, we don't. Yeah, for sure. And then I would be like a steak potato guy.
Yeah. Have you found any? And then we're not going to impugn anyone here because it's certainly not. Have you found any place that you'd like to eat around this area?
Like Mexican food or just
yeah, anything. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Okay.
Plenty
Cool.
of fine dining.
Yeah.
Options.
You're from where you're from is Richmond, is that right?
Richardson,
which is that right outside of Dallas, right?
It is. Yeah, just a suburb.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I told you my son went to North Texas.
Yeah.
And
He
did.
did. Mm-hmm.
Lives in Bastrop.
Now he's in Bastrop.
Bastrop.
Yeah.
You know Bastrop?
I know Bastrop, Texas.
All right.
Hey, here comes a third text, third correction.
Wow.
Good,
I was on a
rolling.
I was on a roll last show. The person says Charles Wesley Godwin is touring with Luke Combs, not Luke Bryan.
You get that wrong all the time.
All the time.
You said Luke Bryan. Luke Combs.
Yeah, I made a mistake apparently.
Oh.
Wouldn't be the first. After I told Mark he was here for 2 years.
That would be a pretty good concert, by the way.
Yeah.
Those guys.
He's
Yes.
Charles, friend of the program.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I need to meet him. We kind of met back and forth a little bit on social media, but
Oh, we can
do not
take care
know.
of that.
Yeah, I need to meet him, and I saw he was touring with Luke Combs, and my kids want to go to Luke Combs this summer, so now I even got 2 reasons to go.
Probably get backstage.
Where is he playing? Anywhere close to here?
Yeah, I think they are. Kaylee was looking it up the other day. I don't remember what she
Yeah,
said, but
probably
she
be
had
able-
it kind of figured out.
Probably be able to effort that, don't you think?
Efforting.
Thanks, guys.
Brad and Tony, we enjoyed talking to you at the game last night, the baseball game. Great conversations. Little backyard brawl. Brad calmed my anxiety regarding the basketball transfers and hoping to see all of you guys at the Three Guys tailgates this year, Brent and Morgantown.
Nice chat with Brent.
Hey, so let me get your take on this. So Darren is in, and he's putting his staff together. He's putting his players together. People getting nervous. You're giving a head shake. Just relax.
Don't be.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
No reason. Right. Like, it's a process. It takes time, and you want to get it right. You'd much rather wait and be a little patient to get it right than rush to feel the immediate satisfaction of others.
Do you know him? Had you met him before he got hired?
I did not know.
No?
I did not know.
Have you guys talked yet?
Yeah, we've had a couple, 3 or 4 interactions for sure.
Okay.
And that's basically what we told Brent at the game the other night. Just everything's fine.
Everything is fine.
He'll be all right.
Did you go to any baseball games yet? You're too busy.
Not this year. No. Yeah, I hadn't had a chance.
We got to get you over there.
I would love to go.
Hoppy, it was packed
another week or so.
Oh, yeah, the pit game.
That was unbelievable atmosphere. By the way, I think we got a picture from that game.
Oh yeah,
somebody made the picture.
Oh, we had a great time. We had a great time. Talked to a lot of celebrities over there.
We ran into. Look who it is. That'd be past Three Guys participant Garrett Green, and off to the left, that's the young man that scored the first touchdown in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. That's Traylon Ray down the left sideline.
Watch out for Traylon Ray this year.
Yeah.
There was enough football players at the baseball game the other day. You absolutely could have practiced.
C.J. Donaldson stood with us for a long time. A great kid. Rodney Gallagher,
the offensive line. You could have practiced.
Johnny Williams came over. There's a ton of them.
Yeah,
great support.
Awesome.
Great fun crowd.
I bet you could field a pretty good baseball team with those
Garrett.
guys.
Well, just those two.
Those two.
You put Traylon Ray and Garrett Green out there, they can both play. No question.
Garrett was here. Remember what he said? He said I could have been a professional baseball player. His dad's the bullpen coach for the Brewers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, here's a foodie question. I'm standing here watching my garden seedling start to take off. It's got me yearning for my favorite summer meal, a tomato sandwich. Have you ever experienced this delicacy? You slice one tomato, a little mayo, Duke's mayo, of course, salt, pepper, 2 slices of toast, and you've got yourself a meal that Gordon Ramsay can't beat. If you're looking for a kick, snap off a hot banana pepper to garnish. I'd be all in.
No,
Put some hots on that.
Yeah.
Put some hots, as he suggested.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. You got to get the good tomatoes.
That sounds good to you?
Yeah, fresh tomato.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good to you?
No.
You're out.
I'm out.
Reason? Tomato?
All of it? Specific part of that?
I mean, just tomatoes.
Just all of it?
Just straight
tomatoes in general. What?
With bread. Crunch.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
Toast? No.
No.
Spaghetti, but you'll do cooked tomato like a spaghetti sauce. Yeah. Are you not a big spaghetti sauce guy?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Wait a second. You want to say something to us?
No. I'm good there. I like it. I'm just not a. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't. No cheese, no meat. We're just going.
No, it would be a tomato and a piece of bread.
I'm out. Y'all enjoy. I'll go next door and get a pizza.
I'd take about 10 of those down right now.
Oh, do not drop off a bag of tomatoes at the Kellogg household.
Because that's a big thing, right? Got them in the garden. That's about that time. You got them in the garden. Brought these in.
I'm stealing that
There's
line.
There's a lot of people bringing them in.
I'm using his line forever.
What's that?
You guys enjoy that. That's what I'm going to start using when people start bringing me some stuff. No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
Jeff from Sandyville in Venice, Florida. I'm watching my 11-year-old granddaughter, also known as Breezy, with her softball pitching coach. I asked the coach where she played in college, and she says, in Salem. That's in West Virginia. You've probably never heard of it. I said, well, actually, it's an hour from my house. Always a West Virginia connection.
Always.
Morning Scope senator and part-timer. They call him part-timer, Mark, because he often misses. Yeah. Any word on Josh Eilert or the former staff's next opportunity, or will any be retained? At this point, it doesn't look like any of the staff members from last year are going to be back. Mike in Nashville, our last one. Tony, a quick thought that occurred to me this off-season of WVU sports. I grew up in Morgantown, attended Morgantown High. I graduated from West Virginia. My family had basketball season tickets in my childhood. I attended every game of the classic Catlett years. I remember listening to your post games on the long car rides home from the Coliseum, and I wish my dad would turn off this boring Tony guy who droned on about how many rebounds Damian Owens had.
Damian Owens reference.
Probably steals, too, from Damian Owens.
Now, decades later, I live in Nashville, and I miss West Virginia every day. One of the things that helps me feel connected is tuning into Three Guys and your Sports Line podcast. I guess you aren't as boring as I thought. Thank you for what you do.
Left-handed compliment.
Mike
there.
from Nashville.
Tony?
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much. I put you to sleep.
Not
and
as
now
boring as. You know what? He remembered listening to you talking about Damian Owens, so you must have registered with him.
But you know what that reminded me? I forgot. We used to do a long post game of basketball.
And you did it?
After MSN was over, we would do another post game.
Gosh.
Yeah, right in that little room off the Jerry West Lounge.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that little room?
Yeah.
Hey, dude, we can't thank you enough for being here.
Appreciate it as always, guys.
No, man, this is good. I hope we accurately communicated to you how thrilled we were about what you guys were able to do this year, and I think we can easily speak for the collective out here, not the NIL collective, but the collective of people. Of what it meant, and as I said, I think this thing is doing this.
And how much fun your team was to watch this year. That provided a lot of entertainment to a bunch of people this year.
Good.
A lot of fun.
All right, there he is.
Remember,
Mark Kellogg.
BU.
Yeah,
BU.
Can't wait to next episode when Hoppy's got that BU face tattoo right on his forehead. Three guys before the game, brought to us by Comax Business Systems,
neck,
keeping
probably.
West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By GoMart, go for good times. Go for GoMart. Get that rewards card. Get the new app. Download it. You be in business. And by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. And by our new Three Guys Cement West Virginia logo. If you want one of those, you just let me know. Text the text line. What's it at?
From the guys in Fairmont.
Those guys that make those in Fairmont.
Cement guys in Fairmont.
Yeah. Just remember, Hoppy.
Yes?
The river's deep. Cement is cheap.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's an organized crime thing. Anyway, see you again next time. Three guys before the game.